Welcome to this week's edition of Westbank Super Series Trackside. We're down at East London Grand Prix Circuit for round 5 of Westbank Super Series. With me, official spokesperson for Super Series, Chops Sepuka. Chops, what can the viewers expect from the amazing East London Grand Prix Circuit?
Well, it's quite an amazing circuit, as you say. It's going to be a bumper to bumper. It's going to be fantastic. A big thumbs up to the crowds that are going to be supporting this event. We're racing in one of the most famous and historical circuits in the country. Very high speeds that we could expect here. I think currently what we had in production cars going into rifle, we're pulling up speeds up to 245 km an hour. So it's going to be a really exciting race to watch.
We're going with superbikes this week as well, and of course the superbikes get into rifle range at close to 300 km an hour before they get onto the brakes for Copacabana. Something amazing, huh?
Oh, absolutely amazing. I think you have to numb me to actually go at those speeds on a bike around there.
Braking is quite a big option here too, and of course slipstreaming is most important. But let's go down and find out what happened in qualifying.
The fight for this year's overall Bridgestone production car drivers title has been close throughout the first half of the season. One of the toughest contestants is Audi's reigning champion Sean Watson-Smith.
Sean, it was a tough day in the office at Swartkops for the Audi team in general, and all of them seem to be a little bit off the pace, but down here we're already starting to rock and roll and absolutely fly.
Yeah, look, I got nothing there, which is a tough day, is putting it mildly. But anyway, not quite what we needed, going in there leading the championship. But after all the shenanigans there and incidents and so on, I'm only 5 points behind, I think, as we head into this. And yeah, this has always been a good circuit for us. Last year I had an amazing second race here to win in Michael's car after an accident in the first one. In mine. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. You know, it's a beautiful venue and you know, very close to my hometown, so I love it here.
So did Bridgestone's Jan Maritz.
Jan Maritz, Bridgestone Motorsport Manager. It's halfway through the season, Westbank Super Series, and so far so good with the production cars and their ability to put on an amazing show.
Yes, Greg, it's been an amazing year so far. The races have been close in each of the classes. We're very happy with the coverage we're getting, and yes, it's been great.
In terms of Bridgestone production cars and the way forward, we've just come out of a huge strategy session with Motorsport South Africa, Westbank, and of course all the manufacturers. We're looking forward to a great future with this particular class.
Yes, that's the best thing that could have happened. I think we all know where we're going, and it can only grow from strength to strength.
Friday afternoon's official qualifying session soon showed there was very little to choose between the teams of Nissan and Audi in terms of sheer pace. Various drivers from the respective teams held pole position at various times, but in the end Nissan's Chops Sepuka emerged on top. We asked him how it felt.
Well, you know, firstly, it's, you know, I'd just like to say thank God we up here to be on pole, particularly in this circuit. There's just so much gratitude that the team deserves to be on pole here. You know what they say about Nissan, shifting expectation, so that's what we have done here. It has worked very well. There's so much desire to be successful in this circuit, home ground advantage, being closer to home, with a lot of support from the team, from the fans and everybody around. So it's been great. I just have no other words to describe it. It's just one goes into a different range of emotions.
Second quickest was Audi's Johan Fourie.
Yeah, I won't say we had bad luck. We've been taken out 2 races, so hopefully we can put that behind us and start from fresh again. So far this weekend our performance is really good. The new engine is performing well. I think it can just get better, the looser it gets, the more mileage it's going to put on it. It's a pity about qualifying yesterday. I made a small mistake in turn 5 or the last turn. I think I could have snatched pole, but it's a good performance from Chops and from Nissan. So hopefully we can put in a good show for the first heat, walk away with a lot of points, and in the second heat take our time because we've got 15 laps, and just try to walk away with a handful of points here. The two leading guys in the championship, Taylor and Watson-Smith, is struggling a little bit. They're slightly off pace. So I think we can take that advantage and really get some points and claw back in the championship.
Former champion Leroy Polter qualified his Works Nissan in 3rd place.
Yeah, look, I think we yesterday qualifying went well. Chops did really well, put in an excellent lap. Nice to see that the Nissan's up back on the top, and we really need the win here down in East London. I think it shows that we've had the pace this weekend, and I think we're going to bring it to the guys, bring it home.
Saturday's opening race grid again demonstrated how ferociously competitive this year's title chase is. The times of the top 9 drivers were covered by less than a second.
Chop Sopuka on pole position. What is he going to do to keep those Audis behind him? The lights go out and away we go down towards turn number 1, Potters Pass. Probably the most daunting corner in the whole of South African motorsport, Matt.
Well, the Nissans have a lot of power down here at the coast, but it's the drag and the drive that the Audis can do. But look at the Nissan in the background. That's Sam Racing, Marco De Cunha, just grabbing a little bit more extra than he needs.
Now using a bit of the circuit and some more as they head down towards Rifle. Now as they come to Rifle corner, this is the first lap, so it'll be about 220 k's an hour. But at full tilt as they come into Rifle next lap round, they're going to be close to 260 k's an hour. Right onto the braking markers into Kochabana. A little bit of shoving there from Michael Stephen. The Engine Extreme car has moved up ahead of the Lenovo Micro Audi of Melville Priest.
Going on board with Chop Sopuka, he did very, very well to hold off the charging Melville Priest, and now he has got Michael Stevens coming on strong. But the Nissan is really, really good on the power. Look at him. He closes up on the back end under the braking, and he is tucked in under the wing of the IndyCar oils of the race leader, Johan Fourie.
Now as he heads into the complex for the first time, it's Chop Sopuka starting to put a bit of pressure back onto Johan Fourie. Fourie got a great start off the line, but that was all quattro power as they come flying through out of the complex. This is also a very, very quick corner, probably about 180 k's an hour, and now up towards the braking marker into Beacon Corner.
Now the Nissan can use all the power, but look at Michael Stevens. He's really, really trying to come through. He's slotted into 3rd place ahead of Priest, who is starting to drop back. The factory Audis are starting to come to the front, and they're bringing along the BMWs.
4 Audis versus the Nissan there. The BMW's Team Afrox, unfortunately, just off the pace at the moment, but starting to close up, as you said. Now this is where we're going to see some absolutely amazing power. Just listen to this car as it goes through Potters Pass. Well, we're not going to hear it on board, but you'll be able to hear it on the outside. They basically just lift off slightly and then flat out onto the pedal yet again down towards Rifle.
Fourie still leading out. They'll grab a little bit of inside curb here. Chops grabs a huge handful. You can see the inside line there. Fourie is really, really covering. He knows that Chops has got the power. Very strong on the brakes, and Chops pushing him through the corner. So Chop Sopuka really lightning fast down here, and now it looks like Michael Stevens pulling up alongside. We might have a good dice coming along here for 2nd place.
Yeah, Chop Sopuka looking for a way up the inside of oh, there's big contact. Look at that, contact between Fourie and Chops. I'm not quite sure what Chops is trying to do there. Johan Fourie had the line, Chops went up the inside, and, well, there's a little bit of retaliation. Out of my way, Chops coming back onto the circuit. Fourie's going to slot in, probably into about 3rd place there, but big problems for those 2 drivers as they came into the complex.
Fourie race leader, Chop Sopuka in 2nd place, and now it is all about Michael Stephen. He leads by a country mile out front, and Melville Priest inherits a strong 2nd place. Fourie will be absolutely fuming about that, and he won't want to give it up. He's coming back.
Coming straight back, in fact, round the outside of Sean Watson-Smith and makes it stick. Look at that, amazing stuff. The Quattro's got the power to do that, but as they come back onto the main straightaway, it might be Sean Watson-Smith who gets a better drive. We'll have to wait and see. It's Audis 1 to 4. Then we go to Team Afrox BMW, and that is Etienne van der Linde, and then a little bit of a gap to the Sam Racing of Marco De Cunha and his teammate, Anthony Taylor.
Well, this would be huge damage. Sopuka has to come into the pits there. He has to have damaged the front suspension and the wheel. You can see the mechanics having a glance around the car. That will be the end of the day's racing, and he was in with a chance of a win as well.
What a pity there. Chops just throwing it away, unfortunately. Trying something a little bit too early in the race, in my opinion. But here we go, back to the front end, and look at this dice. 4 Audis and the 4 rings battling absolutely brilliantly here. Round the outside of the corner yet again from Fourie. He's tending to like that outside line. It's working for him around the circuit, and so far, he's already caught up to the back end of Melville Priest. Hasn't been able to get past him just yet, but it's only a matter of time.
Fourie down into that. He's very, very early on the brake, should I say, and then he gets on the power very early, gets a good drag through, and just powers it the whole way through. So Audi's 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going to start driving defensive, but the first of the Afrox BMWs is coming through, and that's also bringing the first of the Sam Racing Nissans. De Cunha having his best drive so far.
What a drive here from Michael Stephen. He's pulled a bit of a gap now because of these other 3 battling it out there, and you can see there's a little bit of body rub on that tire. There's no smoke from that car, but the smoke that is coming is basically just a little bit of the bodywork rubbing on those Bridgestone tires.
So Michael Stevens way off the front now. Melville Priest has got his mirrors full of Johan Fourie, and here we go, another move, going to try and ride around the outside, get on the power very early. He's going to set himself up for the next left-hander. That should give him the edge. Here we go, 2nd place for Fourie.
Little tap there from Melville Priest as they came back out, but it was absolutely perfectly done by Johan Fourie. Now it's a drag down towards Potters. This is Melville Priest moving over slightly. Johan Fourie's going to keep that inside line because he knows he needs it for the next corner. Potters Pass and, of course, Rifle
Priest has got to be careful because Watson Smith is going to be right on him. You can hear them. They just lift off ever so slightly, back on the loud pedal, and everything she's got through into Potters.
And look at that, there must have been a mistake by Melville Priest as they came out of Cochabamba, and another mistake in the background. Sean Watson Smith's car has given up the ghost, unfortunately. The Engine Extreme car, unfortunately, pulling to the right-hand side of the road, and here comes a battle of note. It's the two Team Aprox BMWs and the two Sam Racing Nissans, and they are giving it hammer and tongs.
First up is Etienne van der Linde, and then the meat in the sandwich is D'Cunha, as Watson Smith, the man who is leading the championship, has to park it.
That's a big pity there, and it's going to lose him some very valuable points. But you can see the lights are on at the moment. They're going to start coming in amongst some of the traffic, and there in fact is Chrissy Swanepoel from the Class Bs. But right now it's all about the battle between Johan Fourie and Michael Stephen, and can Michael Stephen keep Fourie at bay? I'm not quite sure Fourie's got what it takes to get up ahead of that Engine Extreme car.
Picking up on Darren Lobb, the second of the Sam Nissans. He's tagged on to the back of the BMWs, so he's really starting to find the groove down here at the East London circuit as lights ablaze. Michael Stephen is going to cross the line, but you saw Fourie, he was catching him.
He was indeed. It was a great drive and a possible victory taken away from him due to that incident between Chops and himself, but it's Michael Stephen with a great drive.
Michael Stephen's victory margin over Johan Fourie was just more than a second. Afterwards, Fourie was not impressed with the tactics employed by some of his rivals.
Tough day in the saddle there, buddy. Really looking forward to a win, and unfortunately just coming together with Chops going into the complex.
Not coming together, he took me out from the back. 3 races in a row now. I'm telling you, what must we do? The officials don't do anything. Every time you have to put in an incident report, writing a setup, nothing happens. The previous time Taylor hit me, he took me out. There's 3 times, every time I have to fix the car, sponsors are getting fed up with it. It's not stock cars out there. What must you do? Every time it feels like someone bluntly want to take you off the track. It's not racing. I mean, now I had to come with a Ben car, look at the car in the back. The tyre was working overtime. It wasn't losing grip. I had to come from 5th all the way to 2nd. I think I could have won that race. It was my race, but now look at it.
The Class T battles promised to be equally tough, with the Aprox Mini Cooper S of Mark Silverwood expected to hunt at the front of the pack.
Definitely, we're right on pace this weekend. It's going to be a very close race here at East London, it always is, with this long straight. Very tight at the front. It's going to be down to race tactics. We got the pace to win. That's what we're going to try to do. We'll see how it goes, but definitely going to try to get on pole now.
The previous race meeting of the season at Swartkorp saw a robust confrontation between the Opel Astra OPC of Gary van Heerden and the Ford Focus ST of Gary Formato. We spoke to the two combatants in East London.
Look, there's always going to be action. It's T-class racing. It's always going to be good, and it's always going to be tight. You know, sometimes things happen and tempers do flare, but at the end of the day, you know, we all had to have fun and we had to race, and this is what we're doing. So we're back again and sort it out, and I'm sure we'll be door to door again.
I think that's exactly what you're expecting, Gary.
No, there's no 2 ways about it. I mean, you know, the cars are super close, particularly the Opel and the Ford. So it really is a battle between the two marks. And as Gary says, you know, things are going to be heated, but I think everybody understands where we are right now with the whole thing, and I don't think you're going to see any unnecessary business on the track. I think we're going to race hard and fair, and I think people can enjoy the race.
The Class T grid promised much spectacle, with the times of the top 10 drivers covered by a single second.
And it's 15 seconds after the Class A's that have got away that the Class T boys get down to the action and down towards Potters for the first time. On board with Ian Pepper.
Seat and the Ford got away from the front. The Opel of Van Heerden a little bit slow, so he's going to have to work on his pull-offs because he's definitely got the power to run up front. Ian Pepper with an uncharacteristically bad start.
Yeah, unfortunately not getting a good one there. And look at the improvement from the Mazdas as well. That's Hans Berza on the inside, having a superb run. And down towards Rifle for the first time. An awesome start from Lee Thompson. He's making a welcome return to production car racing in the Polo GTI, and he's already up there in amongst the mix.
Yeah, a big fan of the VWs, this time throwing a Polo into the mix, so we'll see what the lighter car can do. It might be a nice little entry into the Class T's. It's just growing every single time. The Mazda looking strong, and that's the second of the Fords on the left-hand side there. Duminy dropping back.
Sean Duminy in with a big battle on his hands. He's just behind a really talented man in Kurt Alchin, and of course a man known for blocking, and that's exactly what he's doing right now to keep that Ford behind. Good driving from Graham Donker. He's moved up one position there in the Minimax panel beaters car, but down towards the complex, and actually out of the complex go the leaders of Class T. A superb outing so far from Mark Silverwood. He's in the Mini Cooper, and this time out sponsored by Aprox and Jonas Way Tools.
You back on board with Ian Pepper. Looks like he's trying to find the groove in the PG Auto Glass Golf GTI, coming up and trying to outbrake on the inside of Duminy. He's got the man outdriven in the Ford, and now he's coming up on Alchin, so that's one more move up for Peps.
Kurt Elchin just ahead in the Bodyman GTI. It's the PG Glass GTI we're on board with. They come across the line. Sayat versus Ford. Then a little bit further back, it's Polo GTI. And just behind them, look at that Opel OPC. The Webcom car of Gary Van Heerden knows he's got the power, but they were still a little bit concerned about the braking. But here we go, on board with the Nando's Ford Racing Ford Focus. And that is Gary Fumato at the wheel.
Just a slight tap of the brakes from Nathan, and look how hard Gary Fumato has to work on the wheel. Keeps it buried the whole way through. He actually closes up on the shear through there, so the handling and the power understeering actually works for the Ford, and now they go flat out down onto the back straight. Here's a nice tussle going on. That's Donker on the GTI trying to come up on Van Rooyen. So two Golfs really dicing hard.
Now two GTIs having a superb one. A little bit further back, this is Class B. It's the Stanger Auto car of Donnie van Niekerk ahead of Ben Morgenroot in that Zoom RX-8. And right on their tail with a huge improvement is the Barnett's spares car there of Percy Swanepoel. That's the Toyota Radex.
Donnie looked like he made a bit of a mistake there, but nice of him to be picked up by the full factory Ford. So he's looking really fast. He always has to look good, but he is still in with a chance to beat out Big Ben Morgenroot as we go back on board with Ian Pepper staring at the back end of Heis Bose.
Right, Bose are going down towards Rifle Corner now. They are absolutely flat out at the moment. And Ian Pepper hasn't got the pace that we saw a little bit earlier on in the season. Not quite sure what's gone wrong here. You can see them just take that inside curb. Now into the brakes for Kokobana. Looking for a way past. Up the inside comes the Opel OPC of Gary Van Heerden. And look at this, a superb effort. It looks like the... Oh, problems. Pepper's run wide.
Pepper's gone off. He just hasn't had the groove on down here at East London. Setup of the car just hasn't been there. But the leaders are really flying. Graham Nathan, untouchable. And the Ford really looks like it's strong. But will it have enough to last? It has suffered from problems in the past. Let's see if it can hold.
Man, it's got problems. You can hear it in the background. As I was about to say that, oh goodness, can you believe it? Gary Fumato's day has come to a very short stop. Unfortunately, he's going to pull onto the side of the circuit, and the gear linkage has broken. And I was about to say a little bit earlier on the first shot, you could see the ABS was giving him problems.
But Nathan comes across to extend his championship lead. Lee Thompson on his debut in the Polo, a strong second place.
Graham Nathan's win apart, the star of the race was current Polo Cup champion Lee Thompson, who finished second in his production car debut. Ben Morgenroot took his Mazda RX-8 to the Class B win ahead of Donnie van Niekerk's Ford Fiesta ST.
As customary, reverse grid and rolling start, and it's Darren the Lobster Lob on pole position now. Alongside him will be Anthony Taylor. Behind him his teammate as they head down towards turn one. Potter's Pass. What are we going to see from these guys? It's rear-wheel drive all at the front. The Audis have got a lot of work to do to catch these boys.
That's right, Greg. The very strong Sam Racing team lead 1 and 2. Where have we seen this before? Early in the year, down at the coastal circuits, they proved their strength when they led out most of the race on the second heat. Let's see if they can actually bring it home and try and walk away with their first victory of the season. As we watch the Audis really pushing hard. They don't like the rolling starts. They're going to have to muscle their way through traffic.
The Nissans have got a lot of work to do as well. Chop Sapuka not with a great outing in the first one, and under a bit of scrutiny from the clerk of the course. Here we go on board with Taylor, looking back at the India Oil car there of Johan Fourie. Fourie looking very ominous. He wants to make improvements from the first heat, and look at that, he's already up to 5th place. So best of the Audis is Johan Fourie.
Taylor sits in 4th place. You can see him actually pulling away of that onboard shot, getting ahead of Fourie. The flat-out speed of the BMW is certainly working for them, and they just need to stay out of trouble. So at the moment, Sam Nissan's 1-2. Then we go double Afrox BMW, and only then we go back to the first of the Audis in the shape of Fourie and the Indy Oils car.
The Engine Extreme car is not in sight just yet. They're sitting a little bit further back behind the Lenovo MyCar car, of course, of Melville Priest. Heading up to the braking points now. It's Sam Racing's 1 and 2, and Lob is leading at the moment, and no one's going to catch him. He's having a good drive, and he normally does a great job from the front end. But look at Fourie putting pressure onto Etienne van der Linde and Taylor. He's onto the right-hand side of van der Linde and onto the tailpiece of Taylor.
Yeah, well, it looks like Etienne van der Linde made a big mistake at the end of that lap, because Taylor's got himself through, running a nice, clean 3rd place. Etienne van der Linde, you can see he's got the pace from the BMW, so making that mistake, dropping back behind Fourie, and Fourie just moves over, as he is allowed to, closes the door. They're fighting for position, but Fourie now up in a 4th place. He is the first of the Audis. He's now got to chase down the top 3.
Well, big friends on the circuit, but of course, when it comes to the black stuff now and racing proper, it's every man for himself, and Etienne van der Linde and Fourie know all about that, as do the 2 Sam Racing. The tubular technicians of Lob and Acuna are going to be very difficult to beat, considering the pace they've got in. Oh, there's a problem in the background. That looks like Chop Sapuka is out.
Looks like the Nissans, the Sasol Nissans, the factory-supported team, really not coming together down here. And Nissan is represented by the youngster team, Lob and Acuna, leading out the front. And look at that, that's our championship leader, Sean Watson-Smith, way off the back and joined by Poulter. This is the lowest we've seen those men so far this season.
Leroy Poulter has battled all weekend, and as they come through the complex yet again, you can see it's just a freight train of cars. Oh, nice driving there from Fourie round the outside of Taylor. As I said earlier, he loves that outside line, and you can see he makes it work for him, as opposed to what Melville Priest was doing coming out of the complex.
Yeah, the benefit of the Audi is you can just climb on the loud pedal much earlier. You can see him blocking, actually. He's trying to come around Acuna. He does it very late on the brakes. He finds a little bit of extra grip, keeps it buried, and he will be moving up in a second. Oh, they touch! Both cars go out, and a big smash. That is Fourie's day over completely.
Yeah, Johan Fourie tried the same thing he did on Melville Priest's car as they came into Beacon Corner, tried to drive around the outside, and unfortunately Acuna was a little bit further up than what the Lenovo car was, and we saw the touch between the two Audis. Unfortunately, the touch between the Audi and the Nissan was a lot bigger this time.
Fourie definitely had the line done. He just turned in across a little bit too early, and that's what he'll be explaining. Not a hammy camper whatsoever. That's the entire race weekend down the drain.
Can you believe it? 5 races in a row that man's been involved in the big action, and unfortunately it's going to start causing some major problems unless we can sort that kind of rubbish out. But here we go, onto the main straight yet again. Look at Darren Lobb. He's now pulled a huge gap because of all the action that happened behind him, but Michael Stephen is coming in a big way.
Race winner from race 1 already. Michael Stevens coming through traffic, got the lights ablaze to tell the slower cars he is coming through, but Darren Lobb still got a good lead. He'll be praying that Taylor can keep the Audis a little bit busier, and Melville Priest just got to stay consistent. He's going to walk away pretty happy if things stay the way they are.
Darren Lobb is hoping that Anthony Taylor will play the team game, even though they're on separate teams, but it doesn't look like it's happened because Michael Stephen has got ahead of him, and here comes Sean Watson-Smith as well, alongside Taylor into the complex through gate corner, and it's 2 Audis now tucked in behind that really quick Sam Racing Nissan.
Taylor just left miles too much room on the outside there. He must have known he didn't have the straight line speed, or not just that, he wasn't as good under braking as the Audis are. So now we have teammates 2 and 3 chasing down, and they're going to bully the Lobster.
Yeah, I think Darren's in for a race of note, but this is the last lap. Can he keep these boys at bay? He's only got a couple of corners to go. They're going through Rifle Corner, the fastest corner in South Africa. Now they climb onto the brakes for Kokavana. He's going to have to go defensive as we go on board with Lenovo Michael of Melville Priest.
You can see up front there, Stevens trying to round around the outside. And look at that, they can get on the power so much earlier than the Nissan can. Nissan's got to have a deft touch or he's going to light it up and lose forward momentum. But at the moment, you can see Melville Priest tucked in, and the battle is raging. Stevens comes around the outside. He's going to try and set up outside, inside. They touch. Oh, Stevens is fighting that car like mad.
Yeah, big touch between the two of them, and great driving from Michael Stephen now. He's got to find a way past. He goes wide. He's going to go around the outside. An amazing stuff here from Michael Stephen. Can he hold it? Yes, he can. It looks like Darren Lobb just got out of shape. 2 corners to go, and the lead has changed.
Lobb just knew that pressure was there. Tried to get on the pedal really early, and unfortunately, the Audi just slipped through. Michael Stevens looks like he's lining up to walk away with his first double.
Well, it's not over yet, because here comes Melville Priest around the outside of Taylor. Can he do something that we saw earlier from his stablemate Johan Fourie? No, he can't. They get onto the loud pedal. Now it's just a drag for the line. Sean Watson-Smith trying to do Darren Lobb out, but unfortunately Lobb is going to hang on, and a great drive from Darren Lobb. Probably the best of the day.
The second race was a desperately close affair. The cars of Michael Stephen, Darren Lobb and Sean Watson-Smith all passed the checkered flag in the same second. Afterwards, we found Michael Stephen in the pits.
Last night you looked really concerned about having a bad day. Things have just turned around in a big way.
Yeah, it's amazing how the wheel can turn overnight. We made some changes over the car last night, and completely different motor car today. We came out and we won both races. So the team really put in a big effort this weekend. I'd like to thank all of them, the sponsors. Great result.
Another happy camper was sports car racing graduate Darren Lobb after scoring a brilliant second place.
Darren, so close, but just so far, bud.
Yeah. I'm lost for words, man. Look, we're very close. That move of Michael's on the last lap was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I mean, he ran down around the outside once or twice, and he was nowhere. And just on that last lap, that was, geez, it's cruel to lose the first victory with a move like that. It was really good. He drove very well.
That he certainly did, providing proof yet again that the Bridgestone Production Car Championship currently accommodates many of South Africa's most accomplished four-wheeler speed merchants.
A recent study asked, where does talent come from? Now, what the study found was practice makes perfect.
Back to production car action, this time Class T reverse grid, rolling start. Graham Donker and Ian Pepper lead them out.
GTI's in the front end. We're back on board with Gary Formato. They've done a great job to get this car sorted out. The SMD team, and they're really getting a little bit of action from the back end. Here we go into partners. Oh, look at that, a touch between Nathan and Sean Dermody, and they've both got out of shape. Nathan hangs on, but only just. How did he keep that on the track?
That was superb driving. That's actually dropped everyone way back. Silverwood had to do a little bit of defensive driving, and the top three now are way out front. But what a drive from Nathan to hang on to the big Seat.
I think that would have been, in his very own words, unbelievable stuff there from Nathan, but superb, as you said, Matt. Here they come onto the beat straight. We're on board with Pepper. He leads. Behind him is the Mini Maxis Golf GTI of Graham Donker, who's having a great outing this weekend. And right on his tail, you can hardly even see it. That's the second of the GTIs, well, in fact, the third of the GTIs. That's the RSC car of Michael van Rooyen, also having a superb one.
Van Rooyen's been the surprise of the season so far, and he's really starting to come to terms with the GTI. Super fast setup he's got on that vehicle. And then we go back to fourth place on the road, leading the championship. That's Graham Nathan. Look at Lee Thompson, first weekend out in the Polo GTI, and he's keeping a lot of the factory stars behind him.
Yeah, he's got to come through the field. Remember, he's not going to be used to doing that, although he'll have a little bit of experience coming from Engine Volkswagen Cup. Here comes the Mini of Silverwood. That's the Jonas Way Afrox Mini. Remember, it's changed sponsors for this weekend, and also looking very good as he goes up the inside of Donker.
Mazda's with a massive improvement this weekend. Buzet, then we go back to Van Heerden, then it's Prinsloo, who's finally finding some form in the Mazda MPS3.
As they come across the line now, GTI's 1 to 3, then it's a little bit of a gap to the Seat due to that big incident there. And then a little bit further back, this is the battle for B, and you can see the Stanger Auto Ford Fiesta has already got up front there and ahead of his arch rival, Kirsi Swanepoel and Ben Morgenroot.
Well, Graham Nathan, after that big moment in the first lap, the first corner, in fact, got the power down on the big Seat, and he's clawed his way back in fourth place, coming up on Van Rooyen. Here we go, you're going to see some driving skill, sets him up, watch him go outside, then Nathan just ducks to the inside. He's going to be power on the brakes, and you can see Pepper. Here we go, another place up for the champion.
And into second place for the championship leader overall in the production cars as well, Matt. Here they come down the beat straight away. Michael van Rooyen tucking in underneath that Seat, looking for a way past it. Oh, there's that Tassel Nissen we spoke about earlier, nearly getting involved in a big tangle there with Class T as they come up towards gate corner.
You think that might have been moved out the way by now, but I'm sure the marshals are getting there as fast as they can. Nathan, so good on the brakes. You can see him climbing on hard. Again, we always say this about his lights. Watch those safety lights come on. That's when you know he's pushing the brake pedal as hard as he possibly can, and he moves up in the first place, just outbrakes the Golf GTI of Pepper, and they're going to be going at it now as the group, the whole field, start to bunch up.
And just missed that Nissan again. You can see Formato's not happy about that either. They should have moved that car off the circuit by now. But as they come through gate corner, it is Nathan who takes the lead ahead of Pepper. In fact, no, here comes the Mini of Silverwood. Can he get past Pepper as well around the outside? It looks like he can. Oh, superb driving from little Mark Silverwood there. And he's doing his new sponsors a great deal of work.
The Afrox Mini with the back wheel in the air as he just gets the power down as hard as he possibly can. The Mini really runs good down at the coast, battles up on the Highveld, but he is coming on strong now, trying to ride around the outside of Formato.
Into gate corner yet again, and Formato's moved up very nicely now, so the battle is on yet again between Seat and Ford. Who is going to have the better day today? Last time out, it was all about Graham Nathan because we had that little tangle between the two Garys, but as they come out of the complex now, a nice improvement from Lee Thompson. He's starting to make his way through the field. Now they head up towards Beacon Corner.
Van Rooyen runs in fifth place with the Polo GTI of Thompson slotting in behind him. He's really found some amazing power. They've done a lot of development, bit of testing on that car, but he's coming on strong. Oh, Silverwood, what is going on? Outbrakes himself. Oh, he takes out the leader.
Can you believe it? He's taken out Graham Nathan. Not a happy camper will Nathan be, I'm sure. But unfortunately, the Team Afrox and Jonas Way Mini had nowhere to go. He climbed on the brakes, the ABS system kicked in, and it just locked up that car, and he was just a passenger in a freight train heading towards the Seat.
That gives the lead to the Ford. Gary Formato leads it out, staying out of trouble. Then it's Pepper. Van Rooyen holds third place, his highest position of the season, and then Lee Thompson in an amazing fourth. But what an incident with Graham Nathan going on board. He's through the corner, up the inside. There goes the Mini.
Big bang there, and unfortunately he's not a happy camper. You can see, what are you, mad, he says? I think that's exactly what he was saying, but unfortunately nothing Graham could do there, and I'm sure Mark Silverwood will also feel that there was nothing he could do. He was locked on the brakes and just went sliding across the grass.
Now the Aprox Mini driver really having a hard time there. He looked like he was on for a strong result as well. As for Marto, oh no, the Ford's gone wrong again.
Yeah, can you believe it? The gearbox has gone in the Ford Focus, and that's a big pity because this is going to be another DNF for Gary Formato, and it's going to be left to Sean Dermody to take on the might of the GTIs in the lone Ford.
But let's talk about the top three. Ian Pepper finally finding some form on this weekend. Then we go back to Van Rooyen, who inherits second place. And then look at this man, that's who we're looking at the moment. Lee Thompson driving in third, putting on the move.
Yeah, from second place, he actually got ahead of Van Rooyen now, looking for a way past Pepper. So it's GTI versus GTI, Golf versus Polo. Who is going to have what it takes going into gate corner? I'm not quite sure. It's going to be a drag race to gate corner, and I think Pepper might just have a little bit more legs than the Polo GTI.
VW crowds around the country and around the world will be shouting because this is the best outing we've seen from the Polo GTI as he slots into the lead. That is absolutely outstanding driving and race prep vehicles from Lee Thompson.
Sachs and of course Azoic panel beaters are the main sponsors on that car. They're going to be very happy that they put their money where their mouths are when it comes to Lee Thompson as he heads up towards Beacon Corner in the lead of Class T. Second heat down here at Westbank Super Series at the East London Grand Prix Circuit.
Thompson's first round this season, so he's going to be way down in championship points. Ian Pepper has been on board the whole way through, so he's going to be very happy trying to work out a bit of maths in his head as he tries to go back up the inside, and he's going to shove Thompson wide as they drag race to the finish line.
Finish line coming up now. Checkered flag is waiting. It's going to be Thompson or it's going to be Pepper. Really tight stuff across the line now. And you can see Michael Van Rooyen also just tucked in behind them, but it's going to be one more lap for these boys. Can they hang on? Which GTI is going to take this win? I think it's going to be all about that Polo.
It's going to be terrifying. Lee Thompson, very skilled. He drove Polos for many years in the Polo Cup, but now he's strapped a big turbocharger to it. Let's see if he can outfox the fox of Ian Pepper, though. Pepper goes up the inside. Thompson's going to have to wiggle the little Polo around the outside and just keep the power buried.
Yeah, the battle resumes yet again between Thompson and Pepper. We've missed it, but it's all back again in Class T. Checkered flag is waiting. Is it going to be Pepper? Yes, it is. Pepper just hangs on to take it from Thompson and Van Rooyen.
Once again, this was an extremely close result. The Volkswagens of Ian Pepper, Lee Thompson and Michael Van Rooyen were separated by just half a second over the finish line. Ben Morgenroot took Class B again, but we simply had to ask Class T winner Ian Pepper about that controversial shunt.
Yeah, I don't know, shame. I think the Mini brakes must have failed or something because he's not like that. He pulled out the cue and it just carried on accelerating when the lights came on. So when his brake lights came on and he hit Graham, unfortunately. But his bad luck for once has become my good luck, and what can I say? PG Glass, everybody thanks, I'll take the win. But to Lee and Michael Van Rooyen, thanks for keeping it clean, and yeah, they helped me to the end.
Subsequent investigation revealed that Mark Silverwood's Mini did indeed suffer brake failure when he got one wheel on the grass and confused the ABS system's electronic brain.